And the AIB All-Ireland Camogie Club Finals take place at Croke Park on Saturday. First up is the intermediate final at 4:15. That sees Clonduff of Down take on James Stephens of Kilkenny. And then at 6:30, it is the defending champions Sarsfields of Galway taking on Loughgiel Shamrocks of Antrim. I'm delighted to be joined on the line by a 3-time winner of the club championship, Ursula Jacob. How are you keeping, Ursula?
Not too bad, thanks.
It's been a strange old year. I was thinking this time last year we would have been talking to you about preparing for an All-Ireland final, which you went on to win. But since then, you've lost an All-Ireland final to Sarsfield. So they're the ones coming into this as the defending champions.
Yeah, it's mad to think. I was only saying it to someone else earlier today that it's hard to believe that, we were preparing this time last year for a final, and, Sarsfields were back in the final in March against us as well, and now they're preparing for another battle on Saturday against Loughgiel. So it's phenomenal that there's been 3 All-Irelands in the space of 12 months. And credit to Sarsfields, they're back where they want to be. But I'd give equal praise to Loughgiel. Their perseverance to get to this final, having lost the previous 6 Ulster finals to Schlockneil. And having come so close to beating them on a couple of occasions, they stuck at it as a team, and they eventually got over the line against Schlockneil in the Ulster final, and then backed it up with a really impressive semi-final win over Drummond of Tipperary. So they're going to be going in with lots of confidence, and we'll be really looking forward to the huge challenge against Sarsfields on Saturday.
So it is very difficult to read this game because you just say, on the one hand, you look at the greater statistic, which is Sarsfields are in the final for the 6th time in 7 years, though they've never won it back to back. But really, Loughgiel have only ever been 1 game away because they've had to go up against that Schlockneil juggernaut year after year after year. It's hard to know how far behind everybody else they are because just they couldn't get over Schlockneil.
Yeah, well, look, I suppose if I was Loughgiel, I'd be taking great confidence from the fact that they're after beating a top-class team in Schlockneil who had dominated the club camogie scene for a number of years. So they will take huge psychological confidence in winning that Ulster final, because Schlockneil know how to win an All-Ireland, and now Loughgiel have taken them, off the pedestal. So they know they're up against it. They're going in as probably big underdogs against Sarsfields on Saturday evening, but that will suit them as well, because it means that probably more of the pressure is on Sarsfields. A lot of people and a lot of neutrals expect that they'll win and they'll achieve the back-to-back. But Loughgiel are there on merit. They've a really strong team. I know a lot of the girls from watching them play with Antrim senior and intermediate teams, and they have a wealth of experience and huge leaders on that team as well. For a lot of these Loughgiel girls, the last time they were in Croke Park was winning an intermediate All-Ireland against Kilkenny in 2021. I think there was 14 of the Antrim panel that they were from Loughgiel. So even though they don't have the experience of playing and winning a club All-Ireland, they have experienced success in Croke Park. So they'll be looking for that kind of inspiration on Saturday again to get them over the line. But you can't doubt that Sarsfields will be going in confident into this game, despite the fact that they've had a number of serious injuries throughout the year. Most notably Orla McGrath, who's one of their leading players, and an all-star recipient with Galway in the past, and she's a serious loss to this Sarsfields team because she probably is the spearhead of this attack. She's a brilliant player who can cover a huge amount of ground, but is also well capable of scoring. So she is going to be a massive loss to the Sarsfield team, but they seem to have dealt very well in the games in Galway and in the All-Ireland semi-final, but you can't deny that she will be missed on Saturday for Sarsfields.
Never fear, though, if you're a Sarsfield supporter, because while one McGrath might be missing, there are several more always ready to step up, and there's Siobhan, Clodagh, the captain Neve, all in the squad. And I know Aisling O'Reilly was down there earlier in the year and did a brilliant piece with the entire family and just how an integral part of the community they are there. Siobhan in particular stepped up in the semi-final against Vincent, scored 1-7 out of 111. So there is an opportunity with Orla McGrath being out injured actually for some of these players to go and really fill the gap and go on All-Ireland final day and deliver.
Yeah, and their father Hopper is over the team as well, so it's a real family affair. And they will be looking to the likes of Siobhan McGrath to lead the attack, but they will need the girls around her like Shannon Corcoran, Cora Kenny, Rachel Murray, Caoimhe Kelly, who came into the team as well, to step up to the plate, because if Loughgiel, which I'm sure they're going to be having a plan to man-mark Siobhan McGrath, well, then they're going to need some of the other girls to step up to the plate as well. And, you know, they do have the strength and depth there, but defensively, Loughgiel are very, very strong. You know, they've Maeve and Katie Lynn, who are excellent players. They've Una McNaughton, centre back. And I suppose the two girls in midfield for Loughgiel have a huge role to play as well, Amy Boyle and Lucia McNaughton, because they're going to have to track back and support their defensive unit, but also push forward so that they're creating those chances and opportunities for Loughgiel. But yeah, Siobhan McGrath's a massive talent. She got player of the match in the All-Ireland back in March against us, and you know, she's going to look to get the ball into her nice and quickly. In the semi-final against St. Vincent's, the pivotal moment for me was when they moved her out onto the half-forward line. That was the changing of the game, because she got onto the ball a lot more. She created the penalty and she scored 1-7. So she only has one thing on her mind when she gets the ball. That's to take on her player and ultimately trying to get a score. And very often she looks to get a goal. So Loughgiel are going to really have to be man-marking her on Saturday evening. And the thing is, Siobhan seems to thrive in an open space like Croke Park. The bigger the pitch, the better for her, because she just will run all day and she will take huge confidence. That the last time she was here, she scored 1-7 and got player of the match.
So you have as much experience of anyone of going up against Sarsfields in an All-Ireland final with, as we said, mixed results.
Yeah.
What are the things that if you were advising Loughgiel heading into this, that, dare I say, weaknesses in the Sarsfields team that they can go and look to expose on Saturday evening?
Yeah, well, the first thing, and I suppose we adopted this kind of mentality ourselves this time last year when we were playing them in December in the All-Ireland final, was to get the importance of getting a quick and fast start. And I think Loughgiel are going to have to come out of the traps flying. They're going to have to play with a greater energy. They're going to have to play with freedom. They can't play with fear, because if they fear playing Sarsfield, which I don't think they will, they'll be going in confident, but they know that they'll have to get that fast start to settle the nerves, because as we said, this can be quite daunting for some of their younger players who maybe haven't played at this stage in the championship before. So, you know, Sarsfields have all the experience, but Loughgiel will have to settle that bit quicker. The other thing I would say is, and I saw it in the semi-final with St. Vincent's. St. Vincent had Sarsfields on the back foot when they took them on, when they pressurised Sarsfields' backline. So Loughgiel are going to have to really, really aggressively attack that backline of Sarsfields, because one strength that Loughgiel have, they have an ability to get goals. They got 3 the last day against Drummond. They got 2 in the Ulster final against Loughneel. And they have a really, really dangerous inside line. Roisin McCormack, a top-class player for Antrim and Loughgiel over the last couple of years. Katrine Dobbin, then Annie Lynn got the player of the match last day in the semi-final and in the county final as well. So these are the girls that Loughgiel need to get the ball into, and it needs to be fast and quick, because in the semi-final, probably Roisin McCormack wasn't getting enough ball into her, and that led to maybe Loughgiel struggling in the first half. So for me, there's goals to be got there on Saturday evening, and Loughgiel will definitely need a couple if they're going to be in contention of winning. I
mean, it sounds what you're saying, that Sarsfields, with the experience they have in Croke Park, they know how to handle not just the big occasion, but actually the size and the vastness of that pitch. So Loughgiel trusting in themselves to get that quick ball in, to make the pitch feel a little bit smaller. It's easier said than done when you're actually going around in the parade beforehand, and there's a lot of things in your head that it's as much a mental challenge as anything else.
100%, I'd agree with that, because Sarsfields know how to set up and play in Croke Park. They know how to win as a unit in Croke Park. And the way that they set up, which I expect probably they'll do the same on Saturday evening. Maria Cooney, who got player of the match in the semi-final, she likes to sit back in front of that full back line. And then Clodagh McGrath, midfield, will probably be an added foil across that half back line. And they're able to cover a huge amount of ground, in particular their midfield pairing of Niamh McGrath, the captain, and her sister Clodagh. But they're up against two extremely talented and athletic players in the Loughgiel midfield line, Lucia McNaughton and Amy Boyle, who are joint captains. And to me, that's where Loughgiel are going to get the energy from. That's where a lot of the scores are orchestrated from. They're able to push forward, but they have the ability to track back and help their defensive unit as well. And in the semi-final against Drummond Inch, they withheld Drummond Inch to without scoring for 23 minutes in that second half. And that's something they're going to have to do again on Saturday evening, because when you've such a talented attacking unit like Sarsfields, you have to get on top of them straight away. You have to kind of narrow the space that's in Croke Park. And as I said, the likes of Shannon Corcoran, Cora Kenny, Siobhan McGrath thrive on space. So somehow Loughgiel are going to have to keep it nice and tight defensively, but making sure that if they keep it nice and tight and have a player back in the back line, that they don't just pump the ball up to Maria Cooney, who likes to sit back in front of the Loughgiel or any of the opposing full forward line. So it'll be interesting the way that Loughgiel will counter-attack Sarsfield's tactics.
How are you calling it then, Ursula?
I think it's going to be a really, really close encounter. I think Loughgiel are a fantastic team. I think they've proven their worth in the last couple of games, especially when things were really tight in that semi-final against Drummond Inch. But for me, I just think that the experience alone of winning in Croke Park, their experience over the last couple of years, and the ability and the know-how of winning a tight game, I expect Sarsfields will come through. But look, I think it's going to be a really tight, tough battle, and I think it will go right down to the wire. But as I said, I think Sarsfields will just have enough to get over the line. And
if Sarsfields do win, that means if you look at the last decade, it'll be 3 for Sarsfields, 3 for Schlockneil, 3 for Oulart de Balloch. Bring you back for another year, the motivation to go and win a fourth?
Oh, God. Well, look, I have to say the standard in the last few years in Club Camogie has really been phenomenal. It's really gone to another level. And look, credit to the likes of Schlockneil, who we played last year, Sarsfields, ourselves, have been thereabouts, as you said, in the last decade. And it's hard to believe that, how quickly time has passed by. But look, it's a credit to those teams to consistently be coming back every year. And ourselves in Oulart, probably a few people had written us off last year, and we came back again. So look, who knows what 2023 will bring, but let's just hope for a really exciting, brilliant final on Saturday evening.
Ursula, great stuff as always.
No problem, thank you.
Ursula Jacob there, the GEA Club Championship preview on OTB Sports in partnership with AIB, proud sponsors of the Football, Hurling and Camogie All-Ireland Club Championships. You can check out #TheToughest for more.
The GAA Club Championship preview on Off the Ball.
With AIB, proud sponsors of the Football, Hurling and Camogie All-Ireland Club Championships.